Hi, this is Lisa from creativecanines.blogspot.com, and I'm working with my same graduation lily image that I'm using for my daughter's 8th grade graduation announcements. I've colored them all up, and this image is a digital image from Pink Cat Studio. And I'm going to add a small shadow around her, like a free-form shadow, as opposed to a shadow that indicates where the light source is coming from. My favorite color for that, and my go-to color, is B60. I think that's probably an unusual color because when I brought it up in my Copic certification class, everyone had never heard of that. The instructors were kind of shocked. Mostly people use colors that are grays. The grays is C0, C0. You can use the warm color grays. You can use, if you're using more distressed kind of antiqued image, you can use the E5051. You can use any of the other colors. I typically would use the 40 colors, Y40, YR40. You can use a red 40. You can use greens. Now, what I'm going to do to do this is I'm just going to use my B60 and I'm just going to outline my image. What this does is it makes it pop off the page. It just gives a little bit more definition to my image. One of the guidelines for this is that you could use complementary colors. So if this image was a violet or an iris, something that was all purple, I might use like a really light yellow around it. And I'm going to do a real simple kind of shadowing around her, freeform shadowing. What this also does is it can help hide a multitude of sins. Sometimes if you have gone in with your colorless marker, colorless blender, and you have fixed something and it doesn't fix all the way, this can help hide that. And it doesn't have to be exact right now. Now, the one thing I'm going to caution you to do before you start this is to make sure your colorless blender is filled up. I'm going to now take my colorless blender, and I have just refilled it, and to go into circles around the image, the color, just the edges. What I'm doing there is I'm kind of blurring the edges, so there's going to be a crisper, and this B60 is kind of like a light hydrangea color. It's between a blue and a purple. It's going to give a crisper color right by the image and a more faded, muted color around the image. The one thing I would recommend you do, and even if you have bought no other refills at this point, if you don't think you need them, if you haven't used any, buy the huge bottle of colorless blender solution and one of their standard refills. And I'll show you the standard refills. Here's a standard colorless blender refill. It's just like the regular various ink refills. I know it's really, I don't want to undo my zoom in or I'm going to lose it. But if you do that, what ends up happening is that you can refill this smaller various refill container with your large colorless blender solution over and over and over again, and it makes it so much easier to use, and it's so much more cost effective to buy that big bottle. I am slowly acquiring all my refills. I know a lot of people don't use the refills as often. I've heard some people who haven't had to refill their markers in over a year. I refill mine probably monthly. I color a lot. This is not exact science. You might have to go over it a couple times. There are some places that don't get as muted as others, but that's okay. I mean, you have to wait for it to dry. And you can see there's like a halo of colorless blender solution around here. Here's another tip, is if you need to clean up your markers, which I pretty much always do because I'm kind of make a mess out of them, is that you can go to Target or Walmart or whatever and buy the isopropyl alcohol, the 91%, and that you can use that to clean your markers up instead of using your colorless blender solution. A lot less expensive. You can also use that alcohol for various different kinds of techniques. Okay. What I did was I add a little bit of definition around her, just to give her a little bit of pop for when I put her on the card. Okay, once again, this week we looked at how to make a simple outline around an image to make the image pop, and I'm going to attempt to show you one that's dry, and we're going to wish me good luck because I have had no luck trying to move these very much, okay? Okay, there we go. There's one that's dry. And you can see there's just a little bit of an outline. And I may go back and fix that a little bit more. It's just to give it a little bit of a definition. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you again next week. This is Lisa Futch with CreativeCanines.blogspot.com.